It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. Got and collared. And sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
Divinity 2 Originals in Divinity Edition.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry. Easy now. No need to...
Ugh, what a dismal way to wake. In the belly of the beast. Let's see if I can grope my way out. An animal pen? How utterly charming.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof...
Fresh meat. Bah. Nice. Plump. Banded like a chicken's leg, too. That may be so, but look at the flies. Ban wisdom. Flies, no.
With two shakes of her stumpy tail, the sheep turns away from you to peruse her hay-filled...
Ну и кто теперь умрет-то?
I should have known there'd be trouble.
Ё-моё, ну ты...
I'm not one to let sleeping dogs lie.
Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in? Set me free, and I'll set you free. Your guess is as good as mine. Suit yourself. But we're all in the same boat here, so...
The prisoner's buoyant voice darkens as his eyes rest on yours.
Ah, freedom. I'm nothing if not a man of my word. And I did give my word I'd set you free, lass.
What would he have to gain by killing me? I need to keep my guard up.
Under lock and key.
And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up. Still, not the worst bed I've ever slept in.
It seems as though there's a pattern in the blood flow. That can't be natural.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon? I'd be quite annoyed with you if you didn't look so honestly.
Index fingers pressed to her lips. She pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing...
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to... A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand on your forehead and taking your pulse with the other.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a cup of mulled wine and another night's sleep. Just take it easy. Is he? Oh well. Some problems simply sort themselves, don't they? Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. All will, but there you have it. See? The collar's function. It neuters you of sorts. Make for your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
Неприятно, неприятно получилось.
Why, you're looking a bit more... There you are. Not too tight. In the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this dungeon.
Index finger.
My word. Oh, well, a new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good... Is he?
She frowns.
Why, for my...
Currents of
My... There you are. For your own...
Doesn't it?
Отже.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Good gods. There's been a murder here.
As the dead man's flesh slides down your throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. She reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself with a joy.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow. And we'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, it looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you listen. I could use someone to bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Think about it. It's one of you who got killed, not one of us. We want to find out who's your real enemy here. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever... So, anything interesting for me? From his memories, you ate something off his corpse? Please, don't tamper with the... As for the older woman, I'll have to check out the ship's log. If she's aboard, I haven't met her myself. Must have. If you meet anyone like that aboard, maybe you could talk to her. Casually. See...
Why won't you sing?
A no doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable?
You! Sorcerer! Blood?
No.
Go! What are you doing here anyway?
Name?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sing us a song, I know you can. Be good, you scallywags.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to catch a killer here.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mezd. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with gold. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
His eyes snap open. He looks at you and frowns.
Murder? Ah, that's what they were going on and on about. I wouldn't know anything about it.
There has been a murder.
I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who.
His eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of...
Whether they catch me is another matter. But
He turns his head toward you, looking you up and down, and smiles before turning his attention to the ship once more.
You look like a girl to me. Listen, if you're interested. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing.
Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums. But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps.
There! You heard it, didn't you? I knew it! I knew it! Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news. No, you beautiful idiot. That wasn't any rat. It was the wheel. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise. Pardon my beard. That means if we've been traveling for Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close to the joy.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank ye kindly, kiddo.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't...
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water.
The elf is reading a volume of Cran... He reaches... He sits back and returns to...
I am not as... Oh, you have... Perhaps I should demand the same from those... I do not... It is Tell me, what do you know? Most unusual. And if it's not too rude to suggest... No, this tech... Where did these gods come from? Now...
No amount...
Don't you get saucy with
Here's the register, ma'am. You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his...
Sorry you're upset. You head on.
Keep those bubbles trained on her. And if she...
Standing at the center of the room...
So you admit it then? You murdered that...
Yes, I did.
She turns her...
There are others whose love...
Good. You there, sorcerer. Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
By all means, do as the officer says. But you had better hurry.
She reaches for her...
I'm just about...
Subdue me!
She smiles.
What's happened? The hatch is blocked. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Thank the gods!
He eyes the collar circling your neck.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to...
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix! Take out your blood!
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand.
Then the mutiny ends...
The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls. The hairs on its back prickling as it looks.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop. Oh.
The hound sees you.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
The skeletons.
No. It catches...
The skeleton.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and...
The skeleton...
Yes. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Do you look at me and think, Why, yes. There is someone with organs enough to drown. Trifling matters like water and poison do not concern me. No, damp robes are the most I have to fear. Once this glorified skiff hits the seafloor, I will simply... Whereas you, I believe, have lifeboats. Remember, one of your...
The skeleton...
Great gods! Something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was painted. You press your palm and it doesn't budge. The door grows...
Something's breaking through. What in the hells are those things? I need to get out of here. Now! That means there's still a chance.
My ball! Indians!
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a bit... Wait. Void broken!
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
About to triumph.
I've faced worse.
I thought Void Broker was supposed to be scary. We make a pretty good team.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is about to burst.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
I've danced with death before, but that was a particularly intimate waltz. I suppose I'm the lone survivor. How jolly.